What's up, everyone? Happy to see everyone again. I hope everyone had a great weekend. How everyone is feeling today? Oh my god, feels good to see you again, dudes. Oh my god. It was 2 days, and yeah, we are literally, I just changed a little bit my streaming schedule to be a little bit better, in my opinion. So we are now streaming every single weekday. In every single weekday, we also have a YouTube video. That's the plan now, that's the plan. Excited to see everyone again. Charlie Boy, welcome to the live stream. Duca 10, Angel, Cruzy, Adrian, nice to see you, dude. How you doing, man? Emily Dev, nice to see you. GC 3217, hello, dude. How you doing, man? Happy to see everyone again. Ben James, nice to see you. Saif, nice to see you. Pilot Vedere, first time chat. Nice to see you, dude. If you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP and Laravel developer, and I love what I do. I love PHP, I love Laravel, I do, I love everything in between, and I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. Welcome to the live stream. Barrento, welcome to the live stream as well. David, welcome. Yassine, welcome, dude. How you doing, man? Mike, welcome to the stream, man. Nice to see you. Roberto, welcome to the live stream. Happy to see everyone. How was your weekend, by the way? My weekend was very chill, Yesterday, I actually, just took the time to do some video prep that I had to do for the week. Also, went with the wife to the cinema. That was fun. And yeah, that was a good weekend, From PHP Portugal? That's nice, man. I want to bring another meetup soon. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, during the weekend, I don't know. All right, let's recap a little bit. So you guys know we are literally developing a full web application on stream. You know what I mean? The goal is developing a Google Analytics alternative, And at the moment, the name of the app is Finalizing.com, which I'm keen to change the name, to be honest. Not really. I was thinking a little bit over the weekend, and I don't feel super happy with the name, so you may actually change this. The repo is fully open source. We developed this fully open source as a Google Analytics alternative, and let's recap a little bit. What have we done so far? So we started a new app in Laravel from scratch. The second thing we have done is literally configure all the skeleton to work with the tooling we love, meaning things like Pint PHP, Collision, Pack PHP, Reactor, and more. All the tools we love, we have configured to literally make this modern PHP, the PHP we love in 2025. What else? We have configured GitHub Actions as well. You guys remember about that? I haven't made a YouTube video about that. Now that I'm thinking, I probably should do that. And we have configured some of the defaults in Laravel that we all love. So we went to the providers, app service provider, and we made a couple of things. You guys know, prohibit disruptive commands in production, but also use carbon immutable and many more. And then we started to work a little bit on the migrations, but also some of the domain logic. So some of the things we have done so far is kind of creating 3 tables. One called it projects, another one called it pages, which will have, the number of times a page got viewed and things like that. So that was fun. I actually made a YouTube video about the avoiding cascade deletes, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's ongoing to be one of the most popular videos I have released yet. Okay. Basically, on this video, call it avoid cascade deletes. I'm very opinionated about why you should avoid cascade deletes and why you should avoid literally any business logic. Megacorp CTO, thank you so much for resubscribing my channel. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much, man. Do you guys drink tea? I'm a big fan of tea, I'm gonna be honest. Especially recently. So I'm gonna, to be fully transparent with you. You guys know that I'm always transparent with you. I'm trying to literally cut all the alcohol in my life, Last year, I got into this habit of having a beer, literally, you know, started by going like having a beer, you know, I'm tired of the day, I'm a little bit tired, I'm doing some gaming with friends, and suddenly I would have a beer, just like that. And without even noticing, I was literally having a beer, not every single day, but I could say that I would have a beer, yeah, almost every single day, yeah. And now I literally, if I had like 2 beers for the last 2 months, it's probably the biggest, basically, you know? So I'm trying to find replacements, and tea is one of them. Rafael, hello from Italy. Nice to see you, dude. Welcome to the live stream. Abilan, do you want the repo link? I'm gonna send you real quick. This is fully open source, so if you guys wanna, you know, check the code to see how I do things and probably, you know, I don't know, grab some ideas here, you can do that, or even contribute. Literally, we have 8 pull requests to check today. That's something I want to do. Adrian is saying, please get sober after Laracon. So I feel like when I'm at home, I got like the tea and water. It's actually very good replacements for having a beer, to be honest. Socially, I still don't have any kind of replacement, but you know, maybe I will find one. Big Langer Corp is saying sober for 2 years. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. More is saying team coffee. So I love coffee. Like, I absolutely love coffee. It's probably the best moment of my day is waking up and have a really nice coffee of this size, you know what I mean? Made by my beautiful wife, and just basically have, you know, just a nice coffee. So just to recap, yeah, basically I found replacement for alcohol when I am at home with tea, with water, and you know, and everything that works really good. However, socially, I still didn't find anything, to be honest. Gover Jabbar, thank you so much for resubscribing the channel, by the way. I really appreciate your support, dudes. You guys are awesome. You guys know all the money will be reinvested on making the stream better, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm streaming for 2 months already. It's crazy. It's crazy. The most crazy thing is that I'm able to actually keep it up, like literally streaming every single day. That's the most important thing, because I feel like most streamers, they actually start streaming, but they can't keep up with the consistency, which you know, you need to. That's my understanding. I try to make this funny and fun for me as well, most likely, you know. Psycho is asking me, from the past live stream, seems they organized all the business logic within actions, but you never use services. Yeah, so just to recap, typically I organize any kind of business logic within actions indeed. So I go to my actions folder, and typically you find stuff like create, update, or delete, and then kind of the domain logic. And typically, if there is any sort of domain logic that belongs to create activity, it goes literally here within a database transaction. So if anything fails, the entire process will be rolled out to begin with, you know? What I do call services is more like when I had to interact with the outside of my application, typically, you know what I mean? Good evening, Steven. Nice to see you, dude. King, you're drunk at the moment? Oh my god. Have fun, dude, you know? It's too late to go back now, so have fun today. Just to close the topic regarding alcohol in general, I feel like alcohol is fine as long as you don't abuse, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But I felt like, especially last year, the fact that I was literally having a beer every day, it was kind of a red flag for me. And because I was getting into that thing where, you know, you're finishing work and suddenly you are in the mood of having a beer, and you know, that's kind of a red flag for me. So I just, you know, kind of stopped doing that, basically. Pilot, thank you so much for the resubscription via Amazon Prime. I really appreciate your support, dude. 6 years, man. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome, man. Renato, why would you say that coffee is not beneficial, though, like over time? I feel like I'm doing 3 coffees a day. Literally in the morning I have like a big cup. After lunch I would have half of a cup, and then like probably at 4 p.m. I get another one. Regarding actions, I see that you guys love actions in general and talk about actions. I have a YouTube video about that. Let me just show it to you. I'm gonna go to my videos. If you guys have watched literally like my only last video, just check it out, because there is really good content here on my YouTube channel, and there is literally this video about actions, which is called Actions Secret Sauce, where I do explain how exactly do I use actions. There we go. This is the one. I agree, Pick and Flow. For me, services, like over time, something people need to understand. Let me go here. Something people need to understand is that sometimes people use things differently. Like these namings you see, like services, especially services is one of them. Like people call services kind of everything these days, you know what I mean? So for me, services is like contains only classes that need to interact with the outside world, okay? So classes like actions typically are things like create article, you know, or potentially update article, or potentially delete article. However, services would never be something that belongs to the domain or to the business logic. Would always be something like, let's say, potentially like this. You know, a folder with HSR feeders or whatever, and this would be potentially like service 1, service 2, and always like at the end I have a fake service or service fake, you know what I mean? Typically would be the other way around though. Can you guys give me names of RSS services potentially? Do you have any? But this typically would be like, you know, the service 1 potentially, you know. Feedly, okay, thank you. Okay, this would be like Feedly. This would be Inner Reader, which I don't know if it even exists. And this one would be potentially the fake feeder or whatever, you know what I mean? Let's call this Reader. Okay. So within some of these actions, I would actually inject services if I would need them. Locally, I would always inject the fake reader, you know, so all of them would obey to an interface. That's typically what I do, you know what I mean? I hope this was somehow clear. Not only outside. Not only outside. Sometimes if you have something like cache, you know, you would have in-memory cache potentially. You would have something else called, you know, a Redis cache, perhaps, you know, or a database cache. It doesn't have to be outside. It just have to be different implementations of the same service. However, it's not tied to the business logic at all. You know what I mean? It's just kind of the services classes that actions would use within, you know? Oh, great question from Maluk. So Maluk just questioned, like, when you are testing, do you test all this, you know, all these different services that potentially connect to the API? So I'm going to tell you what I do, for example, on Laravel Cloud. if I'm testing this action, call it create article, typically what I do is that because they are using the fake cache, there is no problem at all, meaning I don't have to mock anything or whatever. However, at unit level, I would still have something like looks like this. You guys know what I mean? So I would still test all of these different caches individually to make sure they all obey to the same contract. You guys know what I mean? So I would still like test every single one of them individually on my unit level. However, most likely all my services would use, all my actions, would use the fake implementation. That's typically what I would do. So regarding Patrick is asking like, how about like anything like a PDF? So that would be a PDF exporter, which would live at services level. Actually, I would probably do something like this, dude. I would probably have PDF exporters with two implementations, one of them being the fake exporter and the second one, the real one, which probably would be something like file exporter, right? Then I would test every single one of these services individually. So that would be probably at this level. You know what I mean? You need something like this. However, through app service provider, all of the actions, controllers, and everything would be using the fake exporter on my test suite. You know what I mean? That's how I would do this. Ivo is asking me, can you explain it a little bit better? Why would you create a fake exporter? Yeah, absolutely. So on the case of a PDF exporter is not like the best example to do a fake implementation, because actually it's okay to actually download files locally. But imagine that we are talking about like a billing implementation, something that looks like this. You know what I mean? And you would have potentially your Stripe implementation, but also a fake one. Okay, so obviously, locally, you don't want to actually make payments with Stripe. You know what I mean? So what would you do is that locally, and probably in the test suite as well, you would use always the fake implementation of the billing, but through app service provider, you will always use the real implementation behind the scenes. Or you can use Stripe Sandbox, that's right. But you guys get the point. Like the real thing here, the most important thing here is that typically for services, you can have one implementation only if that implementation works locally in your test suite, but also in production. But the real goal is that for really complex services, you can have multiple implementations of that service. You know what I mean? Exactly, Mora. Not every service have a sandbox. You know, even if Stripe have a sandbox, you don't want to use Stripe his sandbox on the test suite, because probably would be super slow. Yeah, this project, Renato, this project will use Inertia 2 and React. That's for sure. Man is asking if we're going to talk about the future of PHP developers. I actually would like to have a live stream to talk a little bit about the job market plus salaries today. Okay, this is something that we are not doing it today, but I want to have a live stream where we are going to be a little bit open about salaries on development today. I feel like when I first started being PHP developer, I had no idea about salaries and how much people were being paid at the time, you know? So as the result of it was that I was being underpaid because I didn't know, you know? I was probably comparing myself with my peers, which at the time, they were like kind of locals. So, and I was also working in Portugal which pays very poorly. So, you know, I hope someday we can have a live stream specially dedicated to the job market, but also dedicated to discuss a little bit openly salaries these days. Because I feel like it's kind of a taboo to talk about salaries, but maybe we can make it somehow that it's not a taboo on my stream. But let's see how it goes. Okay, folks. I want to start today's live stream. We already are like 25 minutes in, but start by reviewing some of the pull requests we have received over the weekend. Okay. Peak and Flow is saying, did the push for remote work push up European daily salary, or save that for later discussion? I feel like overall, salaries are being touched or impacted a little bit by globalization, by the fact that every day or these days, everyone can work from everywhere to anyone. You know what I mean? So obviously, you know, if anyone now can work, for example, for US, we are going to compete with them as well. And we are going to compete as well with UK, for example, or with other, you know, countries paying very well. What I'm just trying to say is that something I wish to know when I was like starting developing in my first years is that I don't have to work like in Portugal, you know. I spent like 2 years working in Portugal for absolutely no reason, you know, and I just wish to know that back then I could immediately have started as a freelancer, you know, because one of the things I was a little bit scared at the time was like, oh, like setting a company is difficult, or, you know, or working as a freelancer is super complicated. It's not, like, literally it's not complicated. And when you set up this infrastructure, you can literally start working for people outside of your country, and then it's just, you know, the salaries go much higher than you would expect. King, I'm not ignoring you. I will read your question in a second. I apologize, dude. It's just sometimes I may, you know, I may not read questions because I may miss them, not because I don't want to answer them. Let me try to find your answer. Oh, there you go. King is asking, can you please explain final read-only classes and why will you use it not as a normal class? So I guess you're referring to, let's see. Where do I have read-only? Oh, there you go. You're referring to this. So read-only is the easiest one. So read-only basically ensures that if I were to have any property on my class, that would be totally immutable, meaning that, you know, if I were to have a constructor on this class, all the properties set on that constructor can no longer be changed once the class is created, which is, in my opinion, something really cool to have, immutability by default. Final keyword for me is just a question of consistency, making sure that all my classes are final, in kind of making a statement that I typically do not solve problems using inheritance. It's not that important, if I'm going to be honest with you. If you don't have final classes, it's also fine. Like, nobody really cares. It's just a question of consistency, at least for me. I hope that answers your question. Renato, I do speak Portuguese, yes. Yeah, the tip about immutable dates, that was a good one. I agree with you, man. You know, and I feel like it's something really cool to do and easy, and just literally fix a problem. Tukutan is saying, I feel like I'm still not qualified enough to work somewhere else other than Portugal, and that is a problem impacting my career in a negative way. All the offers I see for remote work, I feel that I'm not there yet, which is fine. Like sometimes when you see like a job description that looks complicated, you can still apply and say, I can do like 3/4 of what are you requesting. I can do like half of it, but I learn fast, and I can just learn the other two real quick. You know what I mean? Obviously, like, I think job descriptions these days, they are so complicated that you can still apply and potentially you will get the job even if you don't know everything. Like the no is guaranteed, basically. That's why when I was like Laravel, for example, they made a few job offers. Like there was a few job offers available at Laravel careers page, if you guys haven't checked yet. And I had a lot of people coming to me saying, oh, I saw the job offer position and I saw that was open, but I don't have what it takes. Like, dude, just apply, man. The worst you can get is that you gotta know. That's it. And you just stay doing whatever you are doing at the moment, Yeah, exactly. Like all the job requests are literally unreal already, so I feel like, especially like in our line of work, all of us are super smart. Like all of us, everyone here in the chat is super smart. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to literally follow even my streams, So everyone is super smart. So even if you don't know like something, you just learn it. Like, you know what I mean? There is a few technologies which I'm perfectly confident that I don't know them because I didn't spend enough time on them yet, But all of us, we can do everything if we just spend enough energy on it. Yasin is asking, why did I move migration classes to anonymous classes? That was me? I can't remember, man. Wait, you mean on the project or on the framework? Because I can't remember if that was me, basically. Juka-chan, that is, by the way, you were just saying that I'm not there yet and blah blah blah. Something that it was just mentioned on the chat, and I feel like it's so important, is little networking. Networking these days is probably the best way to find a good job, basically. Because with networking, you literally know about salaries, you know about salaries, you learn about salaries, you know how people are getting paid. You learn literally like what are the best companies offering good developers positions. I know like countless examples of people who have found better jobs because they started to go to PHP Portugal or they started to go to Laracons, Laravel Cloud won't be open source, by the way. What's up, Sapien? Nice to see you, man. Welcome to the live stream. Motivation? What do you mean? Yeah, but undeniably, I feel like a live stream just about this topic will be fun. We need some sort of data, to work a little bit about how much people are getting paid here and there. We need to have, some sort of articles regarding if people are struggling at the moment. You guys go to my Discord channel. By the way, I just I'm going to publish here the Discord channel. So you guys can go there and literally, submit this idea to a next live stream. And if you feel like, an article that would be fun to explore here on the live stream, we can probably do that either tomorrow or after tomorrow, But I want to be open about salaries. Literally, salaries is something that I wish I would have known back in the days, About salaries, but also about, some other things that I think are important. Exactly, Evo. Exactly. AI is not replacing anyone, by the way. We literally spent like 30 minutes on the last live streams talking about AI and how ridiculous is some of the stands people are talking these days. You know, companies are promising things they're not selling regarding AI, like software developers literally through AI, which is not true, but anyways. Like, for example, still on the topic of salaries, something that I don't see anyone talking about it. We just basically, I don't understand why. Like, for example, European salaries can never be compared straight to US salaries because of taxes, you know? Because when US people telling you, oh, I make like 100K a year or 200K a year, they are always talking like pre-taxes, because they get that money and then they basically need to spend all this money to get like social services basically. And when you basically tell them your salary, you are telling them a salary which is not fully taxes, but is like already a little bit post taxes, you know, because you are guaranteed some services just by working in European country. But you know, let's save that discussion to another day. I feel like, you know, it could be a funny one, but today I want to get some work done, by the way. Thank you, man. I hope you appreciate the music. You know, I feel this music is a little bit more relaxing, and I like it as well. I'm not ashamed of saying that music literally relaxes my brain. You know, this sort of relaxed melody in my ears just literally relax my brain. Luis is saying that Spain kills us with taxes. Dude, it's just, when you think about taxes, no matter what do, you always get like a cut of 50% in Europe, you know, literally. So if you make 100K, it's like 50K is for literally services from your country, and that's it. Claudio, if you want, I can increase a little bit the music, but I feel like the music is different from YouTube and Twitch. I'm gonna increase a little bit the music. If it's too loud, you guys let me know, okay? Okay, let me know how the music is, by the way. GoStar22, welcome to the live stream. Jefferson is asking, can a Laravel API handle many requests? That's so the answer is yes. Like literally, any framework, any language these days can handle many requests. Yes. Miko, welcome to the live stream. All right, folks, I want to start today's live stream by reviewing some of the pull requests you guys have made over the weekend. So let's go here into what? Just to recap a little bit, I have YouTube videos every single day at 1 p.m. so you guys can visit this YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, just do it. I have literally YouTube videos every single day, and the last one is probably on the head to be one of the most popular videos I have, literally about avoiding cascade deletes. Yakira, you did lost anything. We are literally talking about job salaries and job market and, you know, kind of having a fun discussion, to be honest. I don't have a playlist command. Apologize, dude. Jingles, what language did you start learning, by the way? Miko is asking if I should learn PHP core before Laravel. Yeah, you probably should, to be honest. Some people say that you should start straight with Laravel. I don't agree, man. I feel like you need the basics at least, you know what is a variable, what is a class. There is this website, which you can probably use, which is called Laracas. It's the place where I have learned literally programming. You know, there is literally series about PHP from scratch, PHP object-oriented principles, PHP for beginners, 30 days to learn Laravel. This is my best place to learn, to be honest. So if you want to learn anything, just go here. All right, folks, it's time to get some stuff done. Otherwise, this project will never be released. Okay, so we have a few pull requests from you guys. I want to start by the first one. Yakita contributed something like, what is this? Let's see here. What is this? Okay, this is something very specific to VS Code, if I'm not mistaken. I don't use VS Code, and I also think that this sort of things shouldn't belong to the source code. So I'm going to reject this for now. Thank you for this though, but you know, I don't use VS Code personally. Thank you for this though. Okay, what's next? Add architectural controller in exception test. What is this? Adding in a controller exception. Blah, 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 blah. Files changed. What do we have here? Ah, interesting. Okay. So if you guys don't know, PassPHP comes with a bunch of ways of writing architectural testing, and this contributor called Daniel just contributed with this new architectural testing that literally says that controllers should not extend anything. People who are not using VS Code or are not using PHP Storm, they can still contribute to the project. Is that we don't have specific files of editors in our project, basically, you know what I mean? So just to explain to you a little bit, I don't think editor-related files should live on the source code of the project. That's it, you know what I mean? Big Blacker is asking, there is any reason why a controller cannot extend nothing? I don't see a reason why a controller should extend anything to begin with. You know what I mean? Shu is asking if we have final classes in PHP. We do. So here, for example, this is a final read-only class. We do have final classes in PHP. Yasin is asking me if that is, if I have advices on writing complex, nested, eloquent queries. I think Laracas has literally through 2-3 episodes on that topic, so you might want to check that out. Yeah, the controller, my controllers do not extend anything really. So this is literally like a file that comes with a skeleton. We can just literally come here and remove this, and I'm gonna just type git keep to literally keep this folder. But my controllers do not extend anything. You know what I mean? So I kind of like this pull request. Something that I want to avoid though is having multiple files for this sort of architectural testing. So what I will do here is literally merge this, and then locally what I think I will do, what I do have here. Okay, I don't have anything, so I'm gonna just type this. I'm gonna still delete this thing because I don't want this. Oh, do I want? Yeah, wait. I'm gonna just type git pull real quick. There we go. I'm gonna still remove this controller for now and type git keep because I want to keep that folder. This is something that a lot of people know about, but you can literally just type a git keep .git keep name file to literally keep that folder in your source controller if you want to. Okay. But that being said, let's go here into the pull request we just have merged and kind of have everything in the same file. So I'm going to have this architectural file at unit level almost. There we go. I'm going to type this and call this architectural test.php, and I'm going to move kind of everything inside, okay? I don't want to have multiple files from architectural testing. One of them is that controllers, everything under app.php controllers do not extend anything into not to be used, so this makes a lot of sense. And I also want to move this exceptions one. Let's do that for now, just like this, bam, bam, boom. And we can now remove this entire folder because we literally merged everything on the single file. And I'm going to say here on my phpunit.xml file that we don't need this folder, okay? So what happens if I run vendor bin past tests unit architectural testing? We should have a passing test suite, which is kind of cool, and we can just push all of this, okay? So I'm going to just type git commit -m sure arch testing merges existing architectural testing. Okay, so everything is like in the same file. Okay, so if someone comes to this project and literally understands what type of architectural testing do we have. We do have here an architectural testing, which is quite questionable though. So I expect everything under app exceptions to extend throwable. So that's a good one actually. I have literally in the past created exceptions without implementing the throwable. That was obviously a mistake. But this one is kind of questionable, so I'm going to remove this for now. Okay. I should still have a passing test suite, of course, which I do. So let's commit this change real quick. I'm going to type git add-p, then git commit-m architectural testing removes questionable arch test, okay, and push this. Pack doesn't yet check in your test directory, only checks the application directory at the moment. Christian is asking if there is any good docs about architectural testing. Yes, there is. So you can go to pastphp.com. You can click on Get Started. You go all the way down to architectural testing, and you can find multiple examples here. Like, for example, if you want to ensure that none of your applications functions like die or dd or dump ever ships to production, you can have this really nice test. 4 lines, bam, bam, boom, done. For example, if you want to make sure that models are only used on repositories, for example, you can write something like this, which is kind of nice. And reads very well, like, expect models to be classes to extend eloquent models, but also to only be used in repositories. This is very powerful because with this single test, you ensure that models don't get used anywhere, really, which is a very powerful test, in my opinion. But there is others, like you can ensure that you don't use, functions that you shouldn't be using. For example, MD5 these days, it's not really secure. And there is many things you can use, like to have only this list of public methods and many more, okay? I'm going to send you this, okay, dude? So you guys can study this a little bit. I don't use the Laravel IDE helper. Big Inflow is saying, can you write any architectural test that prevents my coworkers of writing JavaScript? Dude, JavaScript is a cool... I mean, raw JavaScript is not good, or is not good just like PHP. Raw PHP is not good as well, you know what I mean? Nobody uses raw PHP or raw JavaScript these days, you know? Great question from Renato, which says the following. Since your controllers do not extend anything, they could be treated as actions. They could potentially. However, there is a question that I typically have, which is, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here and I'm going to create, like a controller with the name article controller, okay? if you think a little bit, if you were to have a controller here, you know, obviously would have a namespace, and it would be class article controller, and you would have a bunch of things like this, right? If you were to think a little bit, there is a lot of responsibilities that a controller already have, you know what I mean? Like this given controller is already responsible to answer to the multiple verbs this given resource may have, okay? It's already responsible to inject any sort of form request that will validate the given controller. It's already responsible as well to answer back with the given HTTP code and, you know, the proper view that will answer to that verb. So in my opinion, this is too much responsibilities. So I think something we could literally do is have this action, call it create article, and you can literally just dispatch any sort of, you know, business logic required to execute that important piece of the business to that given action. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm using PHP Storm. It's my favorite editor. If you guys go here into settings, you can see that I'm using Cappuccino Mocha theme with 20 size, 1.2 of line width, and I love this, okay? Juka-chan is saying, I'm going to literally start to implement testing on a company project because of your streams. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. What I would recommend you, Duka-chan, is write smoke testing. Literally just write the most stupid test you can have, which is literally something like this. Get the home page and ensure the home page returns a 200, okay? Just have a bunch of this. Like all the pages you have in your app, just have a bunch of this tests. Like visit all of the pages you have, ensure they are answering properly. Just start with high-level testing. And once you have 100% code coverage, you can move a little bit to the unit test cell to test kind of the edge cases. When I mean 100% code coverage, I meant a little bit more like once you test all of the routes, when you have this high level of high surface of testing, move a little bit more to the unit testing level if you can. You know what I mean? Ishmael is saying nice mug. Thank you. It's my wife mug, huh? Today, well, if I actually move forward, my plan is literally code the API for this. So we may talk about APIs today, okay? Let's end actually the pull requesting. So let's go here. 6 pull requests open. Next one says updated the README for the time being, blah, blah, blah. Let's click on files changed. SaaS project, privacy focused, product analytics for web development. Lightweight, track pages and components with minimal data collection, respecting user privacy while providing insights on your project. Let's merge this. You know, it's just, I mean, it's already better than the default thing we have with Laravel, so let's merge this. Not perfect, but I think it does the job for now. Let me click here. Just adjust a few things real quick. So this will be Finalize.com, privacy focused, product analytics. Yeah, let's keep it like stupidly simple for now. Okay. Next. More architectural testing by Emer Key. 15 files changed. Oh, interesting. He have also changed the workflow. Why is that? Because the task suite is not running against this? It should though, right? Oh, it's not. I need to check this because I only want to run my test suite on my pull requests when I approve it, you know what I mean? Oh, which is the case here, so this is exactly what I want. Good job here. That was a good one. Ideally, I would want to changes like this to be on a separate pull request, but undeniably this is actually a good change. Yeah, this kind of stuff, dude, you would do in a different pull request, you know, because your pull request is literally targeting our basic architectural testing, which is this sort of thing, I believe, right? Yep, a bunch of stuff like this. And you are obviously doing different things, like style changes and stuff like that. So you want to avoid this as much as possible. So what I would answer here is the following. Maybe, let me think. Can you combine all architectural tests into a single file with the name tests arch test.php? Also, don't include any other change besides architectural testing. Style, etc. Okay, so I'm going to answer this and also move this pull request to draft. Something I always use is like when something is not ready to be merged, I always convert to draft. It's something I use a lot. So I assume by seeing that this is like green, literally, it's ready for being merged on the pull requester's opinion. You know what I mean? Peak and Flow is saying, seeing some Dusk testing would be cool. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not like I'm disappointed with Laravel Dusk, but I'm disappointed with browser testing in general. I feel like browser testing in general in 2025 still doesn't work. You know, it's still super flaky. It's, you know, you don't get a lot tested, to be honest, because some of the things are literally so visual that browser testing is not literally capable of doing any kind of testing to begin with. Plus is slow, exactly, Adrian. Dusk is so slow. I'm gonna be, so the only kind of browser testing I have on Laravel Cloud is go to the pages and see if they kind of are working a little bit as expected, but I have a very minimal test suite on my browser testing. You know what I mean? Charlie is saying, sounds like a nice project for Nuno. Yeah, you know, at some point I've considered to actually build, how is it called? How is it called, that browser testing tool on the JavaScript world that actually works okay? How is it called? I forgot the name. Cypress, that's it. Yep, Cypress. So Cypress actually did kind of a good job. You know what I mean? I feel like Cypress does a good job. It's still like slow, just like Laravel Dusk. But yeah, you know, maybe in the future. Ash Proton is asking if I am from Lydia. Yes, I do live in Lydia. And for those who don't know, Lydia is literally a town in the center of Portugal. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm gonna tell you something that, for example, I feel like Sentry with browser error tracking, in terms of value, it's provides like high value with very little effort. You can literally cable error tracking in your front end and ship the application to your customers. And if anything goes off rails, you get that reported, which in my opinion is like, you do this little thing with very little value, with very little effort, and you get a lot of value. Browser testing though, I feel like you have, you know, all this tests that you write manually, and then you still have your front end broken, you know? This is like what I'm trying to explain. Oh, that's nice, Ash Pruton. Get in touch with me on Discord. Maybe we can, you know, meet in Lydia. So just, you know, just to say that regarding testing, I still rather test everything at integration level, meaning that, you know, I would test my controllers directly with my Laravel test suite. And at the moment on Laravel Club, I actually made the math today. We have more than 2,300 integration tests at the moment. Pen press, oh my god. Someone is asking, where can you watch the previous videos? Okay, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is this one, and by the way, do not forget to subscribe. I need to do something because literally my audience, like half of the people watching my videos do not subscribe. And I know people like the videos because I have like the rate between likes and dislikes is actually, you know, close to 100% all the time. So I need to find a way of having people subscribing the channel. We have 10K, which is not bad. Like I started this YouTube channel not like time long ago, but regardless, someone is asking, yeah, I have this very cool video about smoke testing and how important is, like, you know, these levels of testing and where do I start testing my apps. And browser testing today is like, you know, something I typically don't use a lot. What do you mean pick and flow? Can you elaborate? Sorry. Hi, Mateus. Nice to see you. Yeah, I know Inertia. I'm a big fan of Inertia, by the way. Are you guys using Inertia already? I'm a big fan of it. And someone was just saying that, you know, how to use like the lazy things in Inertia. So if you don't know, Inertia allows you to basically have this kind of props, which the props may actually be required. Some of them may be lazy and others may actually be there when you require them. I'm a big fan of this, and hopefully on this project we are going to use some Inertia goodies on the front end to see some of this, okay? Livewire is also awesome, by the way, you know. Oh, watching both streams. Something crazy is that, like, right now I am with close to 100 viewers on Twitch. If I can keep this pace, hopefully in the future, I may actually be able to apply for Twitch partners, which is kind of unbelievable, to be honest. Like coding on PHP and Laravel, it's just, you know, unbelievable. You never use Inertia? It's actually pretty cool, man. You will be surprised. So, you know, if you haven't like done any kind of React front ends before, you will, you know, it won't be as smooth as Livewire to begin with. But once you actually got super proficient with React, because React is easy, I can tell you that. Like all the kids today are doing React, so React is easy, you know what I mean? So if you come from a PHP background and you are doing something like Livewire, you will learn React very quickly. And then you will see like how magic is Inertia, you know what I mean? Luis is asking, have you used GraphQL? Yes, I have used GraphQL, and I don't like GraphQL. Because I don't know about you guys, I typically have bad experience with any GraphQL API I've worked with. One really good example, have you guys worked with GitHub, is GraphQL API? Is, first of all, the slowest API I've worked with, literally taking 2 seconds to answer to a simple query. The second thing is that in terms of maintainability, if you were to maintain a GraphQL API in your side, I feel like the promise versus value is not really there, you know? It doesn't get easier for you, basically. Hume, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I really appreciate you doing that. You know, thank you so much, dude. For those who don't know me, by the way, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP Laravel developer. I work with PHP and Laravel every single day. I love what I do. I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube. If you want to support my work, the only thing you have to do is follow me. You know, follow me on Twitch and follow me as well on YouTube. And you know, I would really appreciate that. How about MongoDB? Someone on Twitch is asking that. So I cannot say I've worked with MongoDB before. I know it's a key value type of database. However, it's not fully supported by something like Laravel. So I never had the chance of actually exploring MongoDB like I would, you know, to have actually an opinion on that, you know. By the way, here on stream, we are very open about the things we know and the things we don't know, okay? So if I were to ever ask you guys if you know about a particular thing, you can say no. And I'm gonna do the same in my side. If you guys wanna ask me something like, what is MongoDB? I know what is MongoDB. I know what it does. I know what type of technology is, but I never used it to be able to say, oh, MongoDB does a fantastic job on this particular thing. So Mora is asking if React is quicker than Vue. It's the same thing, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like most of these front-end frameworks these days, Svelte, React, and Vue, all of them are the same, like almost the same with very little changes. I don't know what is your experience regarding front-end these days. I feel like Vue, React, Svelte, and probably many others like Solid, etc. Today they are all the same thing. You know, they have different functions to create state, or they have, you know, kind of different ways to do the unmount, for example. But they are very similar. You know, for learning, I feel like, dude, it depends, man. If you haven't never done any JavaScript framework, it's probably the same. If you have done like Vue in the past, learning React will be super easy. You know. If you have done Vue through the functional API, React will be the same for you, except the template. The templating engine is a little bit different in React, where with Vue, it's a little bit like Laravel, where you have literally like Blade, you know, like HTML tags and everything. In React is JavaScript code for the templating system, which, you know, in hindsight, it's undeniably, it gets a little bit of time to get used to it. But once you get used to it, actually it's a little bit more simple because it's just simple JavaScript through GX. So it gets easier, you know. But yeah, I mean, undeniably, React these days have just a bigger ecosystem, especially like React Native, for example. It's just such a big win these days on companies. It's difficult to ignore React today. I know Svelte is doing a great job, though. I feel like I've used Svelte already on the live stream, and I think Svelte is a great framework. However, I do feel like today, to be a great JavaScript framework, you don't have to, it's not enough to have a good API or to be ultra performant on the backend. That's not like enough anymore, you know. You need to have this wider ecosystem. You need to conquer this wider ecosystem. In React, I've done a great job on that. Literally, there is things like, you know, React Native or ShatCN. Like ShatCN is just unbelievably cool. There is so many technology, like plugins out there for React that's why React is so popular. Daniel's saying that I could stream about Algora.io. I don't know what that is, dude. Apologize. Pick and Flow is saying, I think PHP in iOS is going to replace React Native. Let's see that, man. I would love to, you know, do some PHP in iOS development here on streams. Shivak is saying, I'm actually waiting for the React part. Yeah, man, hopefully we can have some React here on streams on this project right here. Yeah, Adrian, but undeniably, React versus jQuery. You know what I mean? It's not the same anymore, right? Okay, what is this? Okay. This activity, so this pull request comes from EAPNO. This activity factory now generates dynamic paths and random durations, make it easier to the factory to generate a lot of fake activity. Interesting. Let's click on the files changed. Okay, so effectively what you have done is kind of, instead of, you know, hard code these values on the factory. If you don't know, on Laravel we have these factory classes which are used only on testing. I wished that on Laravel this kind of stuff would have been called fake activity, for example, or fake user or fake whatever, but they are called factories. And what this does is literally like allows me to create fake data. And this pull request literally is actually introducing fake data instead of being like hard coded, which looks good in hindsight. Okay, this is good. However, we didn't have to literally fake as well on the test suite itself. That's the only thing I would change. I'm gonna merge this and actually adjust things locally. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pull this. There we go. We have a passing test suite. We should. Let's go here into our activity test and actually do not fake this stuff right here. Yeah, the reason why I don't want to fake this is that typically a test should be predictable. So, you know, if I'm introducing about here, you know, I should assert at the end that I expect exactly the input I have given to the test, okay? Okay, there we go. Do I want to do this? Yes, I do. Okay. All right, there we go. That's right. Christoph Rumpel was the one like coming up with factories on Laravel, right? And what is just funny because when I first saw that, like factories back in the days was something like this, right? And then Christoph Rumpel came with this factory-based classes, which is just awesome. That was a good job. Oh, we knew? Interesting, Adrian. Thanks for sharing that. Are people still talking about jQuery on the chat? I mean, respect for jQuery, okay? Respect for jQuery. jQuery powered many web development during many years, so respect for them. Yeah, man, I'm gonna die before PHP die. Write my words. I think I'm gonna die before PHP die. What do you guys think? Dude, let's try something. Let's try something. Like, I bet my ass off that everyone on the chat still knows today how to write the query on jQuery. Like, let's just try something. Write on the chat. How would you, for example, if you have this, like if you have something like this, this will be funny. But I'm pretty sure you guys still know this. Okay, if you have something like this, my title, write on jQuery, how would you fetch? How would you fetch on, yeah, you see like this little title? How would you write something like this on jQuery? And I bet my ass off that you guys still know how to write that code, even like 10, 20 years after. Write on the chat the jQuery equivalent code that literally fetches this given text on this H1. You guys are hilarious, man. I knew that everyone knew it. You see, this is how you see that they actually have designed a great API, because 10 days after or 20 days after, still everyone remembers this. It's oh my god. Oh my god, dude. And that was such a cool time, man. We could do like, oh my god. That was crazy. You guys remember like to literally put IDs on this shit, like doing something like this, and then you would do something like get by title or whatever. It was like some sort of thing like this, right? Or whatever. Yeah. Oh my god. That was, and we could do something like hide. Do you guys remember this? How many times, like, I remember writing code like this, like having some sort of button, you know, click me and then hide me or whatever, you know, and then jQuery equivalent. Oh my god, I have wrote so many code like this back in the days. You guys remember this? that was good days, right? Do you guys remember this, man? You still do? I bet a lot of people are still writing this today. They are just afraid of saying it. Oh my god, that was, you know. Oh my god. And I remember like writing code like this, const button equals to literally this, so then I don't have to fetch the button literally all the time. It's just kind of crazy that we still know this API, you know, like after all these years we still know this API. Oh my god, the add class and remove class. Oh my god, that was a good time. Yes, sir. I think I have done jQuery without discovering the toggle, by the way. I don't know that function. Oh, really? They still release versions? Interesting. Yeah, like when you look at this, you probably think, oh, you know, this sucks. But the fact that everyone still remembers the API 20 years after just tells me that this is actually a very good API, because everyone still remembers about this, you know? By the way, if you just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP and Laravel developer, and I love what I do. I love PHP, I love Laravel, and we are literally developing, well, not today. Today we didn't make a lot of progress, but we are literally developing a Google Analytics alternative. And, you know, sometimes during the live stream, we just go to random stuff. Now it's one of them. We are literally checking how jQuery used to be. Oh, the on click, because you can literally able to... Yeah, the on was literally to... It was kind of the event listener at the time, right? You want to listen to only this event or something, right? I have not used jQuery UI. What is jQuery UI? Oh my god, what is that? Oh yeah, I mean, today I would bet my ass off that there is a bunch of websites still done with jQuery and still running on jQuery. If you search jQuery on the web, it's probably like still 70% or something. I think I have built modals without even jQuery UI. I probably was using some sort of jQuery modal plugin or whatever. Peter Green is saying soft lazy music plus jQuery sounds like a retro show. For real, man. What is, just out of curiosity, if you have like a very simple website, you know, just simple html.index, like index.html, like a very simple, just a simple, stupidly HTML file where you want to have some sort of behavior like this, what framework do you use? I'm going to tell you the framework I use. I use Alpine.js. I use Alpine.js because I really like, you know, how easy it is to build JavaScript with this. What do you guys use? No framework, CTO? Interesting. Yeah, I'm using Alpine.js for this kind of deal. Yeah. Alpine.js is the thing these days, right? Yeah, Alpine.js is actually pretty cool. If you got, for those who haven't checked yet, so Alpine.js is this framework developed by Caleb Porzio, which is also the maintainer of Livewire, and literally allows you to do what it would do with jQuery, to be honest. This sort of deals, you know what I mean? Like, you know. So you have like stuff like xdata, xbind, xon, xtext, xhtml, modal as well, which is kind of cool. Oh, they now have a stored as well. I didn't know they have the global. They have a stored as well. When did they add this, by the way? This is new, right? For those who are Alpine lovers, this is kind of new, right? Because when I did Alpine, I didn't have this, the store deal. Okay. Oh, computer props. Check it out. Computer props right here. Yeah, this is new, absolutely new for sure. Alpine 3, you think? So I actually want to do a live stream about HTMX as well. Because HTMX, I'm gonna be honest, like HTMX started, I don't know, I mean, you know, I live in my own bubble. You know, you guys know, I live on my own bubble. And on my own bubble, HTMX started like as a joke. Oh, someone made like some jQuery replacement, which is called HTMX, and you know, it just sucks. And then I start seeing like all these crazy stacks using Go in HTMX, and people are actually saying that HTMX is actually pretty cool. I may actually try it, you know what I mean? On a stream, potentially. What do you guys think about that? I may actually try this, you know what I mean? Because looking at this, like, this is like what I have seen from HTMX so far. Like, you can literally have... You can have a form where the... I'm gonna make this bigger. Yeah, you can have a form like... Let's see... Like this one. And the action is literally putting something on this article 1, which probably would be an edit, for example. And the target of the response, meaning that when you have some sort of HTML and response, you should literally replace the inner HTML, like of this little thing right here, or the outer actually, but you should replace some sort of HTML with the response, which looks cool, right? Chico, thank you so much for the resubscription of tier 1. I really appreciate that. 2 months, yeah, that's crazy, man. 2 months already streaming, which is kind of unbelievable. Oh, there is already a package for Laravel to do HTMX. I wanna do a live stream about this, because literally explore a little bit this. It can be difficult with Laravel. Typically, I would expect this to be like the same experience with just regular Blade, but you would have some sort of, you know, SPA feeling thanks to HTMX, which makes me think like, why wouldn't I use Livewire to begin with, you know, because it's so much more well integrated with Laravel. But it looks cool, you know, it looks cool. Yeah, the tank is here, that's right. Yeah, I see a lot of people doing Go on the back end, HTMX on the front end, and people actually having fun with that. Renato is saying it's 2025 and forms do not accept delete put patch methods. They don't, but Laravel makes that really easy, right? Laravel, Livewire, Inertia. It's kind of transparent at this point. Yeah, PHP still runs in 80% of the web these days, and you know it's still very popular. You know what I mean? Yeah, but to close on the jQuery topic, it's still very popular. Everyone still knows how to develop an API with jQuery, which tells me that they made a very cool API. That's why we still remember about this. Okay. Yeah, I feel like HTMX, you would learn that in no time because it's such a simple API as well. Okay, so this got merged. We got full pull requests to go. Project names should not be made unique. Imagine two different users having a blog attached to their website and wanting to track analytics differently in their own project. This is a very good point. So project names should not be unique. Yeah. And of course, he have made a new migration to drop the name, drop unique name. However, at the moment, because we are such an early stage of this project, what I will do is say, this makes sense. If you don't mind, going to close this pull request and apply the change directly to the app itself. Okay, so what he's saying actually makes a lot of sense. You guys know one of our migrations, which is the projects one, had this unique constraint on a name, which doesn't make any sense because people are going to have websites like my site and probably my site again and probably my site again, and of course because of that the name cannot be unique. Okay, so what I will do, and this is something that you guys probably should think a little bit, is that make sure when you do a change in your code, write the test first and then make sure it actually works as expected. So what I will do real quick is go to my test directory, models, project test, and I'm going to write the following. It may contain two projects with the same name. Okay, this project is like in such an early stage that I probably wouldn't do this, but just to explain you a little bit how I approach things like this, when someone comes with a product request which is having two projects with the same name, so what I do is that I create literally two projects with the same name. Okay, project A, project B, and then I expect the project A to have the same name as project B. Okay, so I'm going to run this test, which hopefully will just fail thanks to our unique constraint. There we go. I can see that literally creating two projects with the same name violates the unique constraint project's name. So I can go to my activities, to my project table real quick, which is literally right here, and drop the unique constraint real quick. And now this will just pass. There we go. This is how I literally approach product requirements. When a product manager comes to me and says, hey, no, I think this should behave this way, for example, what I typically do is that I write a test. I prove first that actually there's a problem with this given feature, and then I make the change. You know, this is where I feel like TDD is really helpful, by the way. B. Clarker is asking how many tests Laravel Cloud has. I literally run a test suite today, and we have more than 2,200 and something like this number of tests, integration tests only. But this is where I feel like TDD is super helpful in this sort of things. You know what I mean? Yep. So this would be fix projects allows to have two projects with the same name. And we made a live stream like only about commit messages, and check how beautiful this is. You know, you can come here, fix projects that allow to have, you know, I probably should start using rebasing here. But looks really cool, this commit messages, in my opinion. Ooh, what we have here. This pull request comes from Ferinique, and he's saying the following. This pull request fixes an issue with caching PHP dependencies on the CI. Oh my god. This is such a good pull request. Like, explains the before, and explains the after, and explains the after one run, which literally already caches successfully. So apparently we had a bug on our CI, which is our composer dependencies weren't actually being cached. And thanks to this pull request, I now have access to the before, the after, and the after the first run. Thanks to this pull request, our CI should be much faster. Thank you for this. That was a good pull request. Oh, great point. That's a very good point. Adrian in Maluk is saying, I still think the project should be unique. The project name should be unique per user, which undeniably is true. We should do that. Let's do that. Let's go into our project test. And let's type the following. 2 users may contain 2 projects with the same name. And then just below, test that. Test the same user may not contain projects with the same name. So if I were to do something that looks like this, by the way, it's just a small tip. If you want to associate this project with this user, something you can do, I hope it works because I can remember, something you can typically do is this. Okay? Instead of doing this, just say, I want to create a project for this user. Okay? Which is kind of cool. So I'm going to create... I can probably do count of 2. There we go. So 2 projects with the same name. And then I'm going to fetch those 2 projects. So project A and project B. This is very sexy code, huh? You can literally do project factory for the given user. Give me 2 with the same name. Fetch them like this. Destructuring arrays in PHP 8.4. And then expect both names to be not to be equal. Expect this to fail. So what kind of exception this would throw, though? This would throw a query exception, perhaps. Let's see. Let's save this for now. And, you know, run the test suite to see how it goes. We don't need this anymore. Emojis look cool on commit messages. I never got into it, by the way, but it looks a good idea. Oh, great question from YouTube, which is, what is the difference between eat and test? That's a great question. So let's do something real quick. Let's skip this one now, or mark it as a to-do so we don't have to deal with it. And something I'm going to do just below is have 2 tests. I'm going to say it is an example, okay? And I'm going to just type this, expect true to be true. And I'm going to type test example. So literally the difference between these 2, test and it, is nothing except the way it's presented on the terminal. So if I run this, you guys can see close to project test, which is right here. You can see that the output is a little bit different. So the it keyword gets attached to the test name. So our test name is literally it has an example. However, when you use something like test, the only test name gets used is the one provided in the description. It's the only difference. It's super useful because you might do something like it may have a description, for example, you know, and here you would have something like test it may have a description, you know what I mean? Which, that's why you would use one or the other. Mind-blowing? It's not mind-blowing. What are you saying? It's literally a function that attaches a prefix. Like literally if I click on hit, the only thing I'm doing is literally this as printf and then recall the test function. On the mind-blowing, you were joking, right? Because there is nothing mind-blowing about this. Charlie have not dived into past yet. Dude, you are missing out. You know, you are missing out. Past is awesome. Not a lot of people know about this, but actually, Past PHP today is probably the most complete testing framework in the world. You can do things like stress testing, mutation testing, profile performance analysis, so tell you like the most slowest test you have in your test suite. Parallel testing built in, you have watch mode, you have dash coverage, you have drift if you want to migrate from PHP unit in 10 seconds, you have architectural testing, snapshot testing, you even have team management. Like, check this out. If I want to, like, for example, come here and just say, oh, I want to assign this little thing to Adrian, for example, something you can do is type, I want to, you know, assign this to Adrian, for example. You know what I mean? And now what Adrian can do is literally type vendor bean past assignee, I think, Adrian, and this will, it's assignee, I don't even know. Let me go here. Let me check this real quick. Team management is yeah, assignee. Sorry. You can type this and see what is assigned to agent, literally, you know. There is so many little things like this. You can mark as a to-do and then type this is a to-do, but assignee is agent, for example. And now agent can see what are the tasks assigned to him. Yeah, it's crazy, man. There is so many stuff here. Like we have assignees, we have an issue on GitHub, for example. We can literally say this is the issue 12 on GitHub, for example, or 13, you know. And now you have all this information like right there. There is so many stuff here, like on you know, on past PHP. What else do we have? There's a bunch of stuff on this. You have a pull request. You can write notes, for example, as well. If you want to write like, hi, you know, this is my cool note, for example. This will now appear on the task itself if you run past. There you go. Hi, this is a cool note. You know, this is pretty cool as well. By the way, if you just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP Laravel developer. I love what I do. If you want to support my work, just give me a follow on Twitch and YouTube. I really appreciate that. But yeah, team management, snapshot testing, retries. We just have done something what I really like, which is literally rerun the same test 100 times. Like if this test for some reason is like flaky and you understand why, you can rerun this 100 times if you want to. And now this test will run like 100 times. There's so small little things here and there that are so powerful. And do you know what we have? Do you know what we have? We have DD built in on the expectation API. Check this out. Oh yeah, baby. DD for the win. DD for the win, the best debugger. And snapshot testing. Jean Sant is asking me what I do think about Python. Python is awesome. Is as awesome as PHP. Great language and great ecosystem. It doesn't have Laravel though on the ecosystem, which is probably the biggest problem. But Python is awesome. It's a beautiful language as well. You don't have past and now you want to cry. Oh my god. Broofdev is asking, what is this microphone? Dude, I have no idea what this microphone is. So I know it's something that's supposed to be used, you know. People just told me buy that one, is the one that everyone buys, and I got it, you know. It's super expensive though. Like this stuff right here is probably the most expensive thing I have on this table, besides my laptop. But it's super expensive. It was like super expensive. Chico, you are still there? Can you tell me like what is the price of this? It's exactly that one. Shure SM7B. But I don't the price was expensive, but I can't remember. I don't think it's $300 though. Yeah. It's $300, but like only the microphone. Then you need to buy like this small thing in between. And you also need to buy this small adapter, like call it Wave XLR, which, because this thing right here cannot go directly to your computer. Still goes through a mixer or whatever. And then you need to buy whatever, you know, all things combined, it is just super expensive. Exactly. So exactly, like everything combined is just so expensive, which, you know, but I had to do it because, you know, I wanted to get a good voice, and I hopefully it's paying off. Hopefully the voice on the stream, it's, you know, it's good. Sia, welcome to the live stream. If you don't know me, my name is Nuno, PHP and Laravel developer, and I love what I do. If you want to support my work, just give me a follow. I could also do music. I could do radio if you want to. Hello everyone, this is Nuno and you are listening 105.9 Smooth Jazz. Radio Nuno, that's right, man. Alright dude, let's uncover this to-do right here and run our test suite to see how it goes, man. Failure to assert that we have a query exception. So what we can do now is do a composite unique constraint. Not a lot of people know about this, but you can effectively ensure that the same name only belongs once to a given user directly in your database. So what I will do here is go to my projects table and do the following. I'm going to type enter, and all the way down, I'm going to type table unique, and then saying that the name must be unique for the same user. Meaning the following: if I were to have on the database, you know, like something like user ID, but then just after the name, different users can undeniably have, you know, the same name. However, if I'm going to repeat this one, different users can have undeniably the same name. However, if the very first ID one were to have the same project name as this row, this would literally result on an error. So you are effectively ensuring data consistency directly in your database by using composite unique constraints, which is pretty cool. I use this stuff all the time already. People on my video, I just published a YouTube video, by the way, which is probably, you know, it's getting a lot popular, this one, avoiding cascade deletes. And people got a little bit confused by the way that I think cascade delete can help me. So I like to ensure that data integrity is ensured at DB level. However, business logic, it's always ensured on the application level, you know? So if I were to delete something, I want to do that explicitly on the application side. However, ensuring that the name, for example, must be unique between users, I do that at the application side, but I have this safeguard always on the database that will make sure that, you know, I don't have duplicate names on the project name. Nuno FM could be definitely a good name for the radio. Renato is asking me, what do you think about slugs and blah, blah, blah. I love slugs. I think on Laravel Cloud, though, I've implemented slugs, literally, you know. So you guys will see, hopefully, Taylor will unveil the project, not the project, but the date of the project in Laracon EU. And you guys will see that when you go to Laravel Cloud, if you are literally on the, let's say, you are on the My Projects organization, you on the URL, you will see My Projects. And if you go to your website, like nunomaduro.com, you will see that on the URL. If you go to the production environment, you will see this on the URL. So I have done all of this, and I love the way it feels for the user, because imagine if you don't do this way, the alternative would be something like this. organizations one, projects one, and pay, sites one or whatever. Bleh, feels like crap. So to give a very cool experience, you can literally give this slugs approach. There is a bunch of stuff you need to think about. For example, people may actually want to have a different slug, or you don't want slugs to collide, for example. You know what I mean? So there's a few things you need to think about. Oh, great question from Mantab, which is asking, if I don't use cascade deletes, what is the alternative? That's a great question, which I probably should have answered on the video. The only thing I've said on the video is that I delete them at the application level, but you can do that as well. I'm going to show you. Okay, so on the last video, I've explained to you why I don't like soft deletes, and many of you have asked me, okay, if you don't like, okay, I'm gonna repeat this one. On the last video, some of you have asked me you don't like delete cascades, but what is actually the alternative to delete all the related data to that user? So something you guys can do is literally go to your action that is responsible to delete the user. So here I would have something like, delete user.php. And within this action, you would obviously have the boilerplate that you typically would have within an action, which is something like, delete user, blah, 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 just looks like this, looks really simple. And typically what I do is that on the handle method, I would require the user that we are about to delete, something like this. Okay. And then just below, I would kind of proceed with the deletion of data of that given user. So here, for example, before calling user delete, which is the very last thing you do, you would do something like this. I'm going to call all of the articles of this user, potentially, and call delete. I will potentially, at some point here, I'm going to potentially delete the images of the user. So, I'm going to do something like this. Images, for each one of them, I'm going to do something looks like this, delete the images on the actual, on the server physically, you know what I mean? So what is cool about this, or what is cool about this kind of approach, is that if anything goes off rails, during any operation here, because we are encapsulating this within the transaction, everything will be rolled out to how it used to be, you know what I mean? However, you are kind of deleting the related data using this kind of approach. You call the relation, something like this. This would be probably, notes, for example, and delete them manually and explicitly on your action. What do you guys think about my mug? My wife has this beautiful collection of mugs, literally like this. This is the ugliest one. That's why I'm allowed to use it. But my wife have amazing mugs. Yeah, Mora, to be honest with you, I probably would delete the images after the transaction, because indeed it's related to something that it's not reversible. So I'll probably only delete the images post transaction. You know what I mean? That's a very good point. Very well seen, by the way. Renato is saying delete the image file on an observer. Never, dude. I will never use events and observers on Laravel. I hate that pattern. I feel like that pattern, events, observers, is uncontrollable. You literally are, have all these side effects that you cannot control, and you don't know why they are happening. And I feel like I want to avoid that as much as possible. So what I like to do is literally come to this delete user and understand all of the business logic involved on deleting a user. Yeah, events hide complexity. It's a nightmare, dude. On pinkery.com, for example, I'm using events, and I feel like today it's difficult to literally create a user because I'm afraid of these side effects I will see. Like, for example, imagine that I want to create a user, but I don't want to like send emails or whatever. I need to think that I need to encapsulate this within, a callback without events. I need to think about all the side effects because there is all these multiple events being fired everywhere. And I just hate that feeling. So what I do feel is that I want to go to this action right here, which is right in front of me. And I see exactly what's happening, I'm going to the articles table and delete all of the articles associated with this user. Then I'm going to notes, and then I'm doing whatever, and then I'm doing whatever. Oh, something went wrong? No problem at all. Everything will be revert back to the way you used to be, you know what I mean? And at the very end, when everything is cleaned out, I'm going to finally delete the user itself, you know what I mean? I don't have an elephant PHP mug. Oh, thank you so much. I have 100 concurrent viewers. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being there. This is a pumpkin mug. Yes, pumpkin mug. It's the ugliest mug my wife has, but that's why I'm using it. Okay, great question. What happens if, any action is coupled to other actions? I can explain you that. So what typically happens, which is the case, by the way, on Laravel Cloud, is that I want to reuse some of this logic between actions. So for example, what typically have is that I would have something here called a delete note, for example, and delete article. And then I would call individually those actions to every single article I have. I would do this basically, okay? This is how you reuse actions within actions. You literally call them just like this, okay? Yeah, I was just saying to them that images would have to be something that we do post-transaction because they are irreversible kind of actions, you know what I mean? So this is something I probably would have to do a little bit differently, either be a job or something. I don't, dude, basically the cascade delete is something that I typically avoid. And I also feel like typically deleting stuff is not as simple as a cascade delete. It's not as simple as going to the table and delete those database records. There is a bunch of stuff involved. That's why I like to do this way. Oh, thank you so much, Imukja, for resubscribing for 3 months. Thank you so much for those 3 months. I really appreciate that. For those who just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer. I love what I do, and I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. If you want to support my work, the only thing you have to do is give me a follow on YouTube and Twitch. I'm also publishing a YouTube video every single day at 1 p.m. You can follow me on this huge list of socials I just have posted on Twitch. I have YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, GitHub as well, everything, really. By the way, I just created an action for deleting things individually when deleting something individually requires a lot more work, you know what I mean? Okay, we have a passing test suite. Were we doing something? We were, right? Oh, okay. We just added this unique constraint, meaning that if I were to go to the projects and comment this unique constraint, I would expect my test suite to just fail, right? There we go. It's failing because the correct exception was not thrown. However, if I add this unique constraint, now I have a passing test suite. Thank you so much, MySQL, or SQLite, to be honest. Fix projects allows the same user, or better, does not allow the same user to have the same project name. Okay, so this is done. One pull request finally. Adds pull request template. Okay. This pull request adds the pull request template. Blah 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 blah. What do we have here? Okay, this is cool. Let's add this. Oh, it does. Sorry about that. I have to fix that. Thank you for the notice. Okay, so we have literally merged all pull requests. It's already 11. Oh my god, time flies today. Yeah, that was a fun live stream, but a fast one. We're already 2 hours in. That was I like this live stream. You know, live streams when we have some fun discussions in the middle, they are fun ones. We don't get a lot of stuff done, but that was a fun one. Just to recap a little bit on the plan, something I want to do is, which was supposed to be the plan of today, okay? Which is, I have to do a couple of things tomorrow, okay? The first one is that currently we have pages, and we are kind of assuming that the user will only want to see the total of views, okay? So something I want to do here is literally ensure that we have some sort of slot or date slot or whatever. There is a better name for this, which I'm literally forgetting. But this amount of views concerns like a specific day, for example. You know what I mean? Like something like this. And then what this will allow me to do is literally have the about page, which has, you know, 100 views, had an average of 25 seconds on this page on this day. But then we have another row below, which will be an average of 30 seconds, 120 views on the 18th day, you know what I mean? And if the user were to request, give me the last 7 days, for example, we are able to literally provide a chart that will tell the user like how the number of views on that particular page progressed over time. And if the user wants something like the last 30 days, we're also able to provide that. Obviously, this data slot, which there is probably a better name for this, will also contain the granularity that we are allowing to do. I feel like have the total amount of views per day, it's more than enough. What do you guys feel personally? Do you think it's more than enough as well, or what? So I want to do this. Then, once I have done this, I need to kind of go back to the create activity, because if you guys remember last time, we were receiving this amount of events on the JSON payload, and something we didn't actually do is consume those events. So here, what we have to do on this queue job is literally like ingest all the activity and then saying the following. You know, infer, the first thing to do is like infer the date from the timestamp of the event, okay? If the event concerns this particular date, for example, does the database row already exists? If it doesn't, we need to create it and then increment the number of views and play a little bit with the average time. So this is what we have to do as well, okay? That means already two things, by the way. There we go. So kind of do this, rework a little bit the ingest activity queue job. And finally, what we have to start doing as well is our API. And something I've been thinking a little bit is, did you guys notice that there is literally no tokens or security when you use something like Google Analytics? Like when you use Google Analytics, the only thing they provide you is a JavaScript code that you just have to put on the header of your project. Have you guys ever questioned yourselves like how exactly this is secured in their sites? Do you have any idea, by the way? Yeah, it's a new UID, but is that even safe? Like I could potentially use that UID anywhere else, you know what I mean? Because you guys are saying that they use the UID, so potentially you know, we would have something like this, script tag, right? And then it would have something like data project. That would be a UUID, right? Potentially. And then it would have our own CDN. You know what I mean? Like it would do something like this. And then our own JavaScript. This will be, I don't know, ingest or whatever, I don't know. Or listener, let's say. If you were to do something like this, why this is secure? Do we need to worry about that at the moment? Okay, let's see. Adrian is saying the request must come from your domain. Yeah, but how? People cannot spoof that, basically? People can spoof those requests, right, Adrian? It's unspoofable? Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I know that we use the origin of the request, but I thought that could be spoofable, basically. But if you guys are saying that it's not possible, well, the fact that Google Analytics literally doesn't do any kind of security makes me think that I myself don't have to do any kind of security as well. You know what I mean? I can literally not use Sanctum, and the only thing I have to do is literally this. I'm going to kind of have a route group and group everything under V1 API or whatever, or API V1. You know what I mean? And then I have a function that would have like some sort of post or whatever. And this would be some sort of post to activities or whatever, you know what I mean? And I would literally consume those activities right there. This is how I'm thinking it. I don't even need to secure this using like Centum, I think. You know what I mean? I don't need to do this like Centum auth or whatever. Right? Because I can literally accept anything, really. What do you guys think about this? The Primogen Lover 911 is saying that Firebase have found security issues from what I have remembered. Interesting. On this kind of approach, you mean? But Luis is saying, what would be the benefit of spoofing? You mean for the attacker, you mean, right? Yeah, people are saying on the chat, oh, it must come from the origin, it must come from the origin. Yeah, but that's another. Basically, people can spoof that. I can spoof that myself right now, literally by modifying my OS file and say that I am literally on laravel.com and start tweaking with the analytics that are there, basically, you know? So this is something we have to think about as well. I think I'm going to not concern myself about this anymore, or about this at the moment, because site I think will be totally free, to be honest. I think I want to make this free, literally, so people can have analytics here, at least on the early stage, because we're going to have very little features. So, you know, probably not even concerned about that. All right, dudes. Tomorrow we actually need to get some stuff done, okay? Because this deal of discussing about jQuery during time of work, it won't work for long, you know what I mean? We actually need to get stuff done. Oh, interesting. Eureka is saying that Google generates a token which you have to put in your domain. Okay. Okay, I may have to check that then. Angel, welcome to the live stream. By the way, for people who don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, and I'm a PHP Laravel developer. I love what I do. Give me a follow if you like my content. And, you know, I'm literally discussing right now with the chat what we will need to do tomorrow. Because today we have spent a live stream talking about jQuery instead of actually doing some work. This is what work is about, literally discussing jQuery and making fun jokes instead of actually actually do some work. Renato is saying, why this package why cannot this be a package? So I'm going to explain you why cannot this be a package. I want to actually have some really good insights on this. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just being the traditional package where you don't provide a lot, I'm going to literally potentially use some sort of AI or something really strong that really provides you very good analytics. And that's kind of my goal, you know? Okay, I'm going to let you guys think a little bit about if we need any sort of security. If we don't, it's also fine, by the way. Okay? If we don't any sort of security, I mean, it's also fine, okay? But yeah, the goal of this project will be super privacy focused, you know? So I won't say, for example, who viewed, you know, I won't save who viewed. I won't save anything regarding who is that user. You know what I mean? The only thing that we probably are going to save is some sort of session ID, but this will be totally, you know, anonymized, where the only reason why we probably store some session ID is to kind of have some insights in metrics regarding the same user, how much time he spent on the platform, you know, how many products did he actually bought, for example, you know, but not for attaching this given session to a given email, for example. Yeah, we are going to definitely have like country, origin, the request, you know, the referee, you know, some sort of global information like browsing and things like that. Renato is saying that he did a package called it Laravel Analytics. Interesting. So I actually made this project called it PanPHP, which is effectively analytics locally, which they work very good. You can see impressions, hovers, clicks, and everything. But now I want to build something better, which you can have like literally a dashboard instead of just this simple table on the CLI. Oh, interesting. So this is like some sort of package, right? You can see locally. Interesting. Moro is saying we need security. It will be useless if everyone can fake some data. Yeah, but the only question I have is, if Google Analytics is not doing any sort of security right now, like, why would I even have to care about that? You know what I mean? Because the code will run on the customer's side. You know what I mean? Actions is not official from Laravel. It's literally a pattern that the history of actions. It's kind of funny. Come from people. I mean, you will hear different opinions on the internet, but my history in actions come from self-handling command buzzes, basically. Okay. So back in the day, people were, you know, talking a little bit about command buzz, which is some sort of pattern that everyone was talking about, okay? Command buzz was kind of the thing back in 2015, perhaps, okay? And what command buzz was about is that you would create some sort of data object, call it, you know, let's see, you will have the handler and the command, yeah, the handler. Give me a person example. Oh no. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So back in the days in 2015, we had something called the command buzz. Okay. And the command buzz was about having literally two classes. The first one was the handler, which would be something like, let's see here, create user, for example. Okay. And then we have something below, which is called the actual command, which would be create. Yeah, this will be create user handler, and this would be create user. And then this would be kind of the same thing all combined. So basically, to create the user, you would do something like this. You know, you would do create user handler, and you handle, and you would provide a data object that looks like this. Okay. Back in the days, it used to be like this, literally like this. And what people start to notice is that the command, or there is always the same handler for the same command. So the command and the handler almost have a one-to-one relation. So people start thinking like, okay, so why instead I do this, why I don't simply do this, literally? You know what I mean? And people start talking or saying that this is literally self-handling command bus, okay? Because you are literally saying, you know, create the user with this data instead of like providing two or creating two classes, okay? So this was like back in probably 2017, perhaps, okay? And for some reason, people stopped talking about this, and there was like multiple iterations on this, but now actions are actually back in 2024. At least that's what I feel, that everyone is like using this actions pattern. But it's just literally about having an actions folder that contains all your logic, basically. You know what I mean? The Primogen Lover 911 is saying, new to Laravel, by the way, welcome. Would you guys prefer Laravel with inertia and Vue, mostly SSR with some client-side activity when needed, or Laravel with Livewire? Oh, dude, that's the $1 million question. At the moment, we have a 50-50 community, I feel like. You know, we have this used portion of the community which just works with Livewire, and undeniably, you can probably have more productivity if you are using Livewire. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Once you master Livewire, you're probably more productive than you would be with Inertia and React, because undeniably it's less code, you know. But you know, I've done apps in Livewire. Now I'm doing apps in React and Inertia too. And if I had to pick a reason, I would say that Inertia in React, the application will feel a little bit more smooth, you know, in terms of front end. But I mean, they are very similar at this point, man, in terms of SPA feeling, I feel. If you know how to build things these days, they are very similar. I feel like they are Pick and Flow. I feel like they are equally difficult to debug, to be honest. I feel like it's difficult to debug apps on React due to the use effect hook and things like that. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I feel like debugging apps on Inertia in React is more difficult than in Livewire, because in Livewire is regular PHP code, you know. Yeah, Livewire Volt is definitely, you know, still something getting better every day. Debugging wise is definitely a little bit different, you know. The Primogen Lover, thank you so much for the subscription to your run. I really appreciate your work. But yeah, dudes, tomorrow we plan to actually get some stuff done. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. And I will be back tomorrow. And as a reminder, I'm streaming every single weekday at 9 p.m., okay? You guys now know I'm literally streaming every single day at 9 p.m., okay? Thank you, the Primogen Lover. I really appreciate it. I love your nickname, by the way. I'm a big fan of the Primogen. I love how energized the guy is for 8 hours straight every single day, you know? So if I can have 10% of his energy, I would be happy with that. Thank you, João, for coming again. Pick and Flow and everyone, by the way. You guys are just awesome, keeping myself motivated, and I just love to be here with all of you, by the way, okay? You guys are just awesome, okay? Let's rate someone, as usual. Let's go here into our, you know, search the section, software and game development. For those who are not on Twitch, I literally rate someone at the end of my live stream. Ideally, someone doing some PHP and Laravel development, but typically that is not the case because there is no one live at the moment doing my favorite stack in the world, so we may have to rate someone else. Ah, Pokemon. Okay, Pokimo BR is literally online. He is a Brazilian PHP streamer, by the way. He is not coding at the moment. He's literally dancing. So I'm gonna rate them just for the fun, okay? Pokemon BR. Thank you for coming today, by the way. See you guys tomorrow, okay? You guys are awesome. Okay, folks. I love you all. Today was a fun live stream. Catch you guys tomorrow, okay? See you tomorrow. Don't forget, do some sports, drink water, and have fun. See you tomorrow. Peace out.